It's Monday, November 18th, 2019, and you're listening to episode 23 of The Jaking Off Show. We have a couple of show dates for you. This Friday, November 22nd, I am at the Sycamore Tavern in Hollywood. You can click the link in the description below if you're listening on YouTube. If you're listening on Spotify or iTunes or wherever else you get your podcasts, you can just go to my Instagram at Jake L. Bassey, and you can click the link in my bio and get your tickets there. It's $10, shows at 8 o'clock. You don't want to miss out. Don't just come to see me. There are other killer comedians that are 100 times funnier than me that have been in the game a whole lot longer than I have, and you don't want to miss this show. It's going to be awesome. Also, Sunday, December 8th, I am at the Good Night in North Hollywood doing Shreddin' Sundays. It is a comedy metal show hybrid produced by metalhead comedians for metalhead comedians. So if you like heavy metal music and live comedy, you definitely want to come to this show. It's a free show, so you have no excuse. You must go. You must go, and I can't wait to see you there. All right, now that all the promo stuff is out of the way, we can get talking here. It's been kind of a rough week. I fell a little off balance. So I try to stay hard in the paint and keep trucking, but you know, sometimes you get sad. Sometimes you get down, sometimes your entire house turns into a laundry basket. But hey, you know, we go through shit sometimes. You know, depression, anxiety, you know, doubting yourself, things like that. We all have these feelings, and a lot of the times we don't express that to others because, especially in men, because it's a sign of weakness. It's a sign of, you know, vulnerability, and there's this stoicism type of way that some men feel that we don't have feelings. It is always anger and apathy. That's it. Nothing. We show nothing. No happiness, no sadness. There is only stoicism, and I am not affected by anything. You know, that's not always the case. And especially on social media, especially since I'm, for the most part, using it to promote shows or say something funny or repost something funny or whatever. You know, it's always good vibes, right? But we don't always feel that way. And it's always important to reach out to your homies and, you know, just talk to people and tell people how you're feeling and all that. And that's not a bad thing, you know, but being negative is such a, it's such a, you know, no one wants to be a Debbie Downer. Nobody wants to be that guy. And you don't want to bring anyone down with you. And that's certainly not the purpose. But, you know, I was definitely, I wasn't feeling that great. I actually, for the first time in my 10 and a half months of doing this run here, I signed up for an open mic and I fucking bailed on it. I haven't done that ever. I felt really bad about it too, because I was sad. I was still pretty depressed over the previous open mics that I did. I bombed both of them. I bombed twice in a row. It's not a good feeling. It's a terrible feeling to crank out your best shit and rehearse your act and have it not register at all. It's the worst fucking feeling ever. And it brings a lot of doubt into your mind. It makes you doubt your material. It makes you doubt yourself. And most of my material is essentially about me. So I'm talking about me, and it's not working, or it wasn't working the previous two nights. And I'm like, do I hit the notebook and review? Yes, of course. Do I tweak it? Yes, of course. But do I throw the jokes out? No. It's hard, and I've got my book right in front of me here, and I'm just I'm poking through notes, I'm poking through material, and now I hit kind of an epiphany, and it was through some support of a good friend of mine who was just sending me good vibes my way, and overall being a wonderful, supportive person. And this is way back in the acting game. Now, in the way I was taught in the theater school is you got to be dead letter perfect, DLP for short. Every period, every comma, every exclamation point, every word, every syllable. You nail that shit on its head 100% through. You don't skip a word or a line or whatever. You don't improv around it. You do the show as written. That's one perspective of the craft. And I'm going to try and apply that as best I can. Now, my style or my approach so far is malleable. That could also hurt me. I could see how that doesn't work because I have, at this point, I've only done 5 minute or 10 minute sets, and I have over 40 minutes of material that I want to talk about. About 20 of it's good, but they haven't been done all at once. And the only way to test it is, at this point, was to split it up and do it at shows. So I have 15 is now just 3 different 5-minute sets that can be put together if I had the time, if it's structured right. This is kind of complicated. It changes every time I go on stage, as in, I will make last-minute edits and last-minute adjustments to what the hell my plan was. Sometimes the plan doesn't even go up there. Sometimes I just rant and write on stage just to see something might come out. And something did come out, and I'm glad I wrote it down. But, there's a lack of structure. There's a lack of solid structure. Instead of being like this gel that can wrap over, that can wrap around and cover the spread, a solid, structured act, an act approach has been done to it. Now, so the way I'm approaching it now is a funny monologue that I'm writing myself and then just performing it word for word and writing down certain stage directions, like wrapping the mic cord around my arm, or a certain look or a certain voice or a certain tone or whatever. Just stage directions and notes and all that stuff. And it's a little tedious, and I've been picking at it a little bit. And I think once I have the whole, and then I'll have to say it out loud and time it, because I haven't finished writing it all down on what I want to cover. And there's like a couple of sprinkles of new things that I know have worked before. It's a little bit of a harder process, this type of approach. Whereas in this notebook previously is really just like, a lot of it is different, just different ways of telling, of leading to of the joke. And sometimes I just have the punchline as an outline, and the setup can take as long as it wants, but the setup has no structure. What I'm saying here is that the setup has no structure in previous pages, and this one's almost done. How far back does this thing go? This goes back pretty far. This notebook has pretty much covered the year, because I got this like right when it was kind of my New Year's resolution. I have to get back into comedy. I have to do this. 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 Did I mention that I have to do this? Buy a little notebook and just have it specifically for that. It's so fucking interesting, man. Just even skimming these really takes me back. Because I graduated from acting school. I got a BFA. And I say it's a scam. It's really not. In order to pursue this thing that I want to do, I'm thinking back on my training and all the classes that I took, and just the heavy hitting semester that I did in New York that honestly made me grow the most. Because LA is like this chill, like, oh, we're just kids in the sandbox, stream of consciousness. New York, it's just fucking punch after punch after punch after punch and hitting the ground and failing and getting it's just I don't know. I didn't spend a whole lot of time in New York City, but during my time there, I felt that it was more hardcore. Maybe it was just the style of the campus in New York. I don't know. My experience is that New York was just tougher, just generally tougher. Man, those were real starving artist times too. It was a lot of ramen noodles. I didn't have a stove. I got a hot plate though, and just a lot of hard-boiled eggs. Eggs. Yeah, man. And now, like, you know, I've got a job and I'm eating healthier and I'm making a little bit of money and I'm able to pay my rent and stuff, so I can like eat better. You know, what up with that EBT card? I'm officially a poor person because I have an EBT card. And dude, I'm getting like 200. Almost 200 from that. And that's like honestly saving me so much money so I can get things like an office space. Go to patreon.com/jakingOffShow, holla for $1, help me save up some money and invest into office space. God, can I get some office space? I know Amazon operated out of a garage at one point, but I need an office space to do this. Because the next guest I'm going to interview, I'm going to them. I got 2 microphones. I got the equipment, the mixer, where all the buttons are and knobs are at a setting. I drew like a Sharpie on where it needs to be, and my laptop, and just knock it out and get it done. Because my place is not. It's not ideal for the environment I want the podcast to be in, because it's a total, like, I mean, my room is it's basically minus the bed. That's what the office is going to be, plus a fridge with like drinks or something. Yeah, that'd be cool. I've got heavy metal posters. I've got this marijuana poster behind me. I've got this big Celtic tapestry. You know, I can make it, you know, be like this rock and roll, like, me vibe. And yet it can still be like, you know, you don't have to see my fucking laundry basket, or you don't need to see that I didn't make my bed or whatever. You know, I want it, and like a desk. Right now I'm using a coffee table with some shoe boxes. I'm going to look back on this one day and I'm going to go, oh, this is where I was at when this started. I started this podcast in mid to late June, so almost 6 months ago, and holy shit, like, I didn't even think I would. I was motivated to do it just because, like, I had to do it. It just popped in my brain out of nowhere, and I enjoy it, and it's a whole lot of fun. And right now, the last couple of episodes have been like open mic experiences. One that I talked about a little bit earlier, show experiences, and that's something that could be ever going. Like, I want most of the episodes to have guests, but now most of the episodes have been solo ones, and a lot of the times I don't have gas in the tank, and I just see like, oh, how far can I go? You know, how deep can I talk about my life personally? Because this is like therapy for me as well, just to clear my head, you know. But I still filter, going, oh, you know, do I want to talk about what's bothering me? Not necessarily, not for the podcast, because you know, like I said before, you want your thing to be good vibes, right? But we all have problems and all that. But let's talk about something good that happened. Here's another thing, since the wheels are turning. I don't know, good, I'm not sure, but I kind of stepped out of my lane, I feel, on this. But it was out of, like, you know, the goodness in my heart. Not a very hardcore thing to say. I look intimidating. I look angry all the time. I give off school shooter vibes, but I'm actually a teddy bear. I look rough. I do often walk like I have a chip on my shoulder because I'm like pissed off about something. No, I'm actually listening to like really intense music that's just pumping me up, and I just look angry. But something cool that happened is that I reached out to a company uh, that I won't say just yet. Um, but their brand, their product kind of fits what my logo looks like, kind of like my style of comedy. Um, and I reached out to them for sponsorship. And a couple days later, they got back to me with some interest and had a follow up question. How many listeners do you have? How many people attend this show that you're producing? Now, the show, that's the Shreddin' Sundays show. I just said I produce it. I told them in the email that I'm an associate producer. I never I know two of the people that run the gig. Shout out Lou Santini. Check out his podcast, Amateur Nation. It's really funny. It's really hilarious. He exposes a lot of the stupidity in humanity. It's great. I love it. Lou Santini, Amateur Nation. That's on Spotify. Well, I've been listening it on Spotify. I don't know where else it's at. But yeah, Lou Santini, shout out. And Christina Marie Leonard, shout out to her. That's her Instagram handle as well. She does cool stuff. Actor, comedian type. Shout out. I just kind of like I asked them that I do this show, that I'm helping produce this show, which I'm really not. I embellished a little bit. And they asked like how many people attend these shows, and I'm just like, well, I've been to all of them, so I'd say like 20, 30, 40, give or take, and it's growing. And I haven't heard back from them yet, but I hope they follow up soon. I just followed up with them yesterday because it had been like a couple days, and they have some interest, which could be fun. Yeah, no, it's just, I didn't even ask them. I didn't even ask them if I could. Now I told them what they said, and they seem excited and all that, but I just sort of like stepped in their lane, and I made it known like, hey, look, I know it's your show. I don't want to step out of lane, but I think this is a good idea. I think we should do business with this company that can help us help them, blah, blah, blah. And I just went for it because their Shreddin' Sundays is a show that I fucking love. I just sort of found it. Yeah, I just found it. And because it started at Flappers. And I do shows at Flappers here and there. They book me like once a month so I can work out some stuff and network, and just it's a spot to grow. I like that place. But I just came across it and I'm like, this is cool. I want to do that. How come I'm not doing that? And I went to the first show, and it was the first show, and it was also the first week of Sunday Night Football. So like the first show was like a low turnout. And I'm like, oh man, I see the potential in this one. Like, not because it happens to be my two favorite things. So it could be like my own biased opinion. But this is a good idea. It's a great idea, man. It's a niche thing. I would call it maybe a small market. Hang on, I gotta plug in the laptop. It's gonna die on me. Always remember to plug in your electrical equipment and make sure everything is working. But yeah, it's a niche market that would seem small, but one would be surprised how big heavy metal actually is. Now, here's the thing about heavy metal and heavy metal fans. You could slap a logo on anything and they'll buy it without hesitation. Oh, do you like the band Iron Maiden? Well, here's that logo and their mascot on a shirt, on a hat, on a lunchbox, bumper car stickers, or t-shirts, stickers, mugs, fucking pillowcases, posters, just name it. Name it, put a logo on it, they're going to buy it. You know, things like that. They even have their own beer. You know, and that's working because of the success of the band. And people just buy that shit. So if you get a heavy metal anything on attached to anything, metalheads will flock to it, and metalheads talk to other metalheads. It's like this group. It's this cult of people that just love heavy guitars and double bass drums and the guttural vocals and just like all that, man. People dig that shit. And heavy metal music wouldn't be where it would right now if it weren't for the fans, because nobody really buys records anymore. You don't really see brutally violent, extravagant heavy metal, like explosion, you just extreme, that whole like kind of 90s Ninja Turtles was doing, just everything's just so extravagant and so, I don't know how else to, it's just, that's it. Metalheads have two emotions, and just like more anger. That's it. We're very simple-minded creatures. And all we want to talk about are the bands and the shows and the mosh pits that we've been in. We're just so fucking crazy. Yet some of us are sober. And, I feel like this sponsorship would work out. I think it really can. But I kind of just did it on my own terms. Because I just wanted to see what would happen. Fuck it, why not? And I was a little worried, like, oh, what if they're like, oh, thanks, man, but it's my show, don't step in my lane. I don't want to be that guy. I don't want to be intrusive. I just want to help. And that's it, and that's that. That's all I really want to talk about. I'm going to keep it a little short because I have to finish writing what I'm writing, and I can't do that and do a podcast at the same time. That would be too hard, and my time is valuable because I have a day off today, and I rarely have a day off today on a Monday, because that is the most motivated I am is on a Monday. People hate Mondays. They're like, oh, Monday sucks. It's the start of the week. I'm like, no, fuck you. It's the start of the week. Let's keep this energy going. Monday. That's how I do Mondays. Anyway, you don't want to see that side of me. I'm fucking psyched and I'm ready to do this shit. We jaked off. We climaxed. Now I'm going to hit the notebook and open a can of bad shit that's going to keep me awake for hours and hours and hours. And I will talk to you sometime this week. You'll know about the show. Okay, thanks, bye.